hydrating and stretching like we're getting ready to run a marathon. Well, I mean,
Ooh.
your hydration is more like getting ready to watch a marathon, but that's I'm gonna need more ice in this. It's gonna take him a while.
So
right.
I've got an idea. You know how last week we talked about CNN Plus?
Yeah, I've got something in there about under follow-up about that.
So here's my thought. Given the week that they had right after we discussed them, are there other things that we think are garbage that we can talk about this week?
Oh, you mean like the Raiders?
Yeah, that works. I was actually thinking Twitter.
Totally fair. How about Moon Knight? I hear that's bad.
Oh, it's total garbage. It's awful. It needs to go away. Aaron Rodgers. How about that one?
You would like that.
Yes. If we really have this power, we should probably only use it for good.
You mean like other podcasts kind of stuff?
No, just really stupid stuff that we talk about all the time, like the NCAA.
Oh boy, you're going to enjoy follow-up this week.
Welcome to Talking to Todd, a weekly podcast with Dwayne Johnson and Todd Friends, where failure is always an option. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Todd.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Back here in UK studio C or D. I've lost track. Each week I just add more sound deadening stuff. So doing well.
Is this the last week of Todd's remote studios?
That's the plan. But there is an international flight coming up and I have to re-enter the country and there's still rules. So we're going to say that's the plan. But when it comes to any of this stuff, I have learned a long time ago that hubris will be punished. So I can't be definite on that because I don't have the final say.
Well, I'm sure you'll be glad to get back to Studio
A. Lisa was just talking about that today. Like, boy, you get back to Studio A, you get your microphone. Lindsey actually, when Lindsey got over here last week, after we recorded the last show, she's like, "You're actually recording from here?" I'm like, "You're listening?" She's like, "Well, not every episode." And then she's like, "Wait, did you bring all of your equipment?" I'm like, "Clearly you haven't been listening because the answer to that is no."
No, definitely no. Oh, no.
She was concerned because we took just a rollerboard for 5 weeks. We've kind of got bare minimum of a lot of stuff. And her comment was, she's like, "Well, I hope that you weren't complaining about everything you couldn't bring and that you still managed to bring a microphone and a mic arm." And no. Bigger suitcase.
27-inch monitor.
Yeah, it's all fine. You know what? Those just fold up. Those just at least once they fold up.
Did Lisa have any follow-up from this week? Let's jump right into follow-up. Did Lisa have anything? Amy still hasn't listened.
We're in London and we got stuff to do. So it turns out that listening to podcasts hasn't been the top of her list. So
she hasn't missed anything. Sarah has listened. Well, let's start with Greg and Sherry listened.
Yes.
Greg, how do I put this? Greg said that his middle school where he teaches would love to receive the donation of Sarah's books.
Oh.
And Sarah said, "I'm not sure that this is middle school reading material." because at one, do you remember when she was on the show
Yes.
and she said, "Have you gotten to the tent scene yet?" I got to the tent scene
Yes.
because I was on the road this week, and I think I'm 2/3 of the way done now. I got
Okay.
to the tent scene.
Yeah.
Not middle school appropriate. There are, I will, this isn't a spoiler alert, but there are lots of tents in this book, more so because I'd gotten to several different tents. I wonder if this was, and then I went, oh,
Oh no,
this
this
would
is
be
the one.
this
This is
would
the-
be
yeah.
this, yes, this would be the one. There was also a section, and it was a throwaway line, clearly a throwaway line, but this alien had 3 penises.
Okay.
It's an alien. And
Yep.
I texted Sarah about it because, well, 2 different things. One, I thought it was really awesome that I could just text the author and get a response. I'm like, I'm reading The Stand, and I could just send a text to Stephen King or, whatever.
Although to be honest, right? Let me throw that out. I mean, there's a chance you could text Stephen King. You're texting the author and expecting an actual reply. Like that's the key here. Yes.
Yes. So there's that. And then my comment to Sarah, particularly about the alien, was, well, if he had had 5 penises, his pants would fit like a glove.
Did any of that happen, or did you just set up a really bad joke?
No, that actually happened.
All right. Well, sorry, Sarah.
So,
oh, is that why she's changed her number?
That's it. New phone. Who does? So I think we may need to find a different recipient or a different book to donate to Greg's middle school.
Or we donate it on behalf of Greg, and then Greg gets to meet a whole lot of parents.
Special inscription.
Donated.
This book donated courtesy of Gregory James High.
Yep.
Just quote, so that all 3 names, so that there's absolutely no confusion as to which
quote. This would be great for the middle school kids. Close quote.
Oh, yeah. So there's that.
All right. So we'll work on that. We'll keep working.
Yes. I don't know how this is going to work.
Poorly?
Probably.
Okay.
We got a voicemail this week.
Really?
Yes. Okay, so this came in.
Hey, Marla, this is Doug. Buddies of mine used to have this line. I just miss hearing their voice from time to time, so I just wanted to let you know kind of what was going on. You really should check them out. They're called Talking to Todd. Just amazing. They're on season 3. They're on CNN Plus, and so Marla, that you're somebody who has that show as well. So check them out. They're wonderful and amazing people. And if this is the future and you're getting this, then yeah, they're probably not on Spotify or anything anymore. All right. Thank you.
Thanks to Doug for weighing in there. I'm sure Marla appreciated the voicemail.
We'll make sure that gets to her.
Yes. Yeah. We'll pass that along.
You know why he got through? Because it's after April 15th.
That's absolutely correct. Yeah. Things are, yes.
Back to normal. Yes. By the way, Dwayne, who sponsored that voicemail?
That voicemail was brought to you by DJ to Go Cedar Valley, your 5-star DJ service in the Cedar Valley.
Excellent, excellent. I'm starting to feel like we're doing like this call to the bullpen is sponsored.
I can tell you it's not sponsored by Verizon because my coverage in Austin this week was not good.
No.
No.
Didn't you have 5G everywhere? Just 5G. Couldn't you operate from the back of an ambulance using your 5G phone? Because I've seen a lot of commercials saying that.
I could not.
What'd you have? 4G, 3G, 2.5?
Well, I had LTE, but quite often I had one bar of it, which does me almost no good.
You didn't pay for all the bars. That's our ultimate plan.
See, the problem with Austin is there's too many bars.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
And because it was a work trip, I didn't find any of them.
Yeah, you had to, per work rules, you had to avoid all the bars, meaning you had no cell phone coverage.
That's exactly what
that's
happened.
the bars that they meant.
Yes, it's got to be. I don't see any other way they could have interpreted that.
Let's see. So that was in our sort of our follow-up, right?
Yeah.
Because Doug did mention CNN Plus. We mentioned them last week. We mentioned the cold open. Ooh, tough week. If you listened to this podcast last week and thought CNN Plus sounds like a thing that I want to sign up for, well, you missed your chance. Because I think they're shutting down in 3 days.
It's not too late. Maybe they'll prorate your $4.99 a week.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, this is how bad of a week they have. Because I was talking about how they only had like 10,000 subscribers to this service, 10,000 viewers.
Yeah.
You would think that would be the reason to get canceled. It wasn't the reason. They planned on launching CNN Plus. And then Warner Media got sold to Discovery. And the CNN team figured, we've already announced it, we should launch this thing. And now the president of CNN got fired during all of this, but I'm sure everybody was like, you know what? They might want to cancel this, but if we put all this airtime into it, we do all of this promotion, we start taking people's money, there's no way they can cancel it. So they basically launched it 2 weeks before the merger took place, like the official merger.
Oh.
And then the new people came in, and within a week of them coming in, went, yeah, that's dead. I heard on one podcast, it was sort of like CNN was like gonna like call their bluff, like, oh, if we launch this, you can't take this off the air. And the new people went, well, I call, and I can. So rest in peace, CNN Plus.
I'm busy looking up the definition of hubris, and yet,
Speaking of hubris,
yes.
Last year we talked about how, even given all of the troubles the NCAA was having, how I believe it was last year they extended the contract of President Mark Emmert through 2025. His contract wasn't even up, and they gave him a multiple-year extension.
Yep.
He announced this week that he will be resigning, effective no later than June of next year.
As soon as a replacement is on board, so it could be much sooner than that, but definitely no later than June of 23 officially. Yeah. They expect, hold on, breaking news. They didn't announce a replacement to get him out the door, but I'm betting they are efforting in that direction pretty quickly. Yes.
I'm surprised somebody from the NCAA isn't on the phone to Elon saying, you got any spare cash? Yeah. So Mark is out eventually here. I did read an unnamed college president in a sourced article basically said, Well, the entire landscape of college sports has changed, and the NCAA has to change with it. And you can't really expect to keep the old guard in, who fought so hard for the old ways, who basically led us to the court cases that we lost. You can't expect them to stay. Job well done. Roller coaster ride there in the president's office in the NCAA. You're doing a great job. Here's an extension, and you're out. So, oh, you know what he could do? He could run CNN Plus. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
He just missed out on that. Let's see. What do we have here? We've got. We have idiots of the week.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. A few of them here. Number one, did you see the Texas junior college pitcher who?
The linebacker?
Yes. Who wrapped up and took down the guy that hit. So in a game, somebody hits a home run. As he's rounding third, the pitcher just comes over, nails him right in the side, and takes him to the ground. I did see a couple of tweets that said nobody in Texas college sports has tackled like that in the last 15 years. Maybe taking a dig at the Longhorns. I don't know. And he did face some consequences. He got suspended 4 games by the league for doing that. And I think he got kicked off the team because the coach said that's no good. However, did you see who actually got more punishment than the pitcher that did that?
No, I don't know where this is going.
Okay. The batter got suspended 2 games for taunting.
Okay.
Or apparently being a target. I don't know. Anyway, he got suspended for 2 games. When the pitcher hit him, it was on the third base side, closest to the batter's dugout, and he took him down. The league suspended any player that left the dugout or any coach that left the dugout. Now, these 2 teams were supposed to play a 4-game series. This was game 1. The league made both teams forfeit. Again, I don't know why, made both of them forfeit. Because they suspended all of the players, and they suspended a couple of players from the pitcher's team, but they had to run all the way across and they didn't get into the thing. Anyway, the team whose player got decked, because they had people who came out of the dugout, they couldn't field enough people to play games 2 and games 3. So the league was telling them that they were going to have to forfeit the second and third game of the series, to which that team was going to appeal. But anyway, basically, if this all plays out, the pitcher actually helped his team win 2 subsequent games. I don't know that he gets the W's for those because he's off the team. But I'm thinking, if you're the league, you're like, wait, the pitcher came over and decked the guy, and his team should probably forfeit the next 2 games. Okay, sure. Idiots all around. The pitcher, whatever. Yeah. I also did see one sports writer who said, in response to this, it's about time batters start learning some manners and not taunting pitchers. Well, that's one way to look at it. Speaking of baseball, let's move to MLB.
Okay.
Consensus in Major League Baseball between players, managers, everybody. Who's the worst umpire in the major leagues year after year? Generally, there's a consensus on this.
Well, there was some debate until Joe
Joe West retired.
Yes. Yeah. When Country Joe West was still umpiring, there was a legit debate as to whether it was him or Angel Hernandez who was worse. Now, I don't think there's any debate.
Nope. And once again, in case there was, I think earlier in the last week, there was a game in which eventually former Cub Carl Schwarber got thrown out of the game. for arguing balls and strikes. And he basically, after the game, said, I just had it. Like, this was so bad. And players from both teams were like, yeah, that wasn't good. But I mean, it was bad he was consistently bad for both teams. A service that tracks umpires said on balls and strikes, he had a 77% success rate, and that he missed 11 strike calls in a 9-inning game.
Yeah. There were 11 pitches that were strikes that he called as balls. Whatever. He's awful.
Yep. And yet he's been in the major leagues like what, 20 years?
Yeah. He's a veteran.
You don't just get that kind of veteran leadership just from the new guys. Last one I have for you. This is going to be one of those. This is going to be everybody's favorite. This is going to be a visual gag. Again, because I'm in England, we're going to talk a little bit about football now and later. Last night there was a Champions League match, semifinal match between Manchester City and Real Madrid, and in all of these knockout matches, except for the final, there's 2 legs to the match, so it's aggregate, and that kind of throws everybody off. So basically, the way to think about it is they play a home and home series. So if you think about it, really the way to think about it is they play the first half of this at one stadium, and then the following week they play the second half. The halves just happen to be complete games. Okay. So we were out at the theater, didn't see it, got home, whatever, and I looked at ESPN, and for a second I had my ESPN set to the US version. And I think the US, so then I had to flip to the UK, because for a second I'm like, that doesn't seem right. So here is the UK headline. This is the ESPN UK version headline. And you can just see here what it says. Just look at the headline. It's perfectly legit.
Man City edge Madrid in 7-goal thriller.
Yep. And at the top of the picture, it even says first leg, right? That sums it all up.
It does. It says first leg, 4-3, 7-goal thriller. Yep. Dramatic 4-3 victory. Yes.
If you went to the ESPN US site, the intern was writing the headlines, and this is what you saw.
Man City holds off Real Madrid to advance
to the Champions League final.
But
nope. Not how it works. Not how any of that works. Only played half. It even says on the picture, first leg of 2.
Well, in the picture, the guy is doing a header. Yes. He's not even using his leg. If the intern perhaps thought that the ball was coming out, it came off the first leg. I don't know what the intern was thinking. I can't explain it.
Well, that's why they're nominated for Idiots of the Week. Somebody needs to explain soccer to ESPN. Worldwide leader in sports. Worldwide.
The worldwide leader in U.S. sports.
There you go. That makes more sense. All right. Let's see. Where are we at here? I've travel stories. Oh,
well, yeah, I've got a piece of late breaking follow-up.
Okay.
This was just texted to us while we're recording from Sherry High.
Yes.
Dateline, God knows, Quilcene, Washington. Headline of the story: woman rescued from Washington National Park toilet after falling in to get phone. I'm wondering if this woman needs a hydration unit from talking to Todd, because
Actually, it sounds like what she needs is a new phone. Best case scenario is that her phone was in a toilet in a national park and she pulled it out. That's as good as it gets, and everything from there is worse, or maybe better. Anyway, go ahead.
Authorities in Washington said firefighters had to rescue a California woman who fell into a toilet at a national park while trying to retrieve her cell phone. The Brendan Fire Department said on its Facebook page that a woman in her 40s was using the restroom at Olympic National Forest when she dropped her cell phone in the toilet. She first took apart the toilet seat and tried using dog leashes to try to get it out. Eventually, she took the leashes to help support herself, which failed.
Wave off,
and fell into the vault head first.
Oh
boy. After trying for about 15 to 20 minutes to get herself out, she could grab her cell phone and call 911 for help. I think that would have been my first move, not what. Anyway, yes. So follow up on porta potty stories. I am so glad that Sherry did not take this path in trying to retrieve her snacks.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we're not getting into. I mean, we Sherry shared her story. We've talked about some stories on Reg Bright. We got to be careful. Porta potty stories cannot become a recurring bit. I'm just telling you, they cannot. But thank you, Sherry, for the real-time follow-up.
My favorite paragraph, she was washed off and strongly encouraged to seek medical attention after being exposed to human waste, but she only wanted to leave. And you can't hardly blame her. Just get me out of here. Don't print my name.
I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, somebody had a really crappy day.
Oh,
okay. Speaking of bad days,
yes.
It sounds like your travel did not. I mean, not that bad, but your travel, you had some travel angst as well.
So I was in Austin this week for work. Flew back last night through DFW. And I'm sitting in the Austin airport at my gate. And there's an identical flight to DFW from my gate, leaving 30 minutes prior. So I'm waiting, I'm looking at and I'm a little confused, but okay, they go to DFW all the time, apparently. So this is just a standard whatever. So I walk up because I think my connection might be a little tight. I went up to the counter. The guy said, "What's your name?" Pop, pop, pop. Here's a ticket. Boom. And I went on the early flight, which, as it turned out, was fortuitous. Because when I got off the plane at DFW, I started to go from B5 to C17. It's DFW, so you got to ride the train. 3 stops.
It's in a different county.
It is, right? 3 stops over, walk up. As I'm walking up to C17, the guy makes an announcement saying, "You're going to A5. Fine, whatever. Great. So off we go, back on the tram, all of us. All of the Des Moines passengers from DFW to Des Moines, all the Des Moines passengers cram onto the train, several of us, and several of them, several trains at this point, get over, walk up to the next gate. You're now going, kid you not, you're now going to A28. He's like, it's that way. So all of us just start walking. Yeah, but with all of that, I am really glad that I was on the early flight, because if not, I would have gone, well, either I would have missed it all and just gone right to the correct gate.
Yeah, it just would have passed you by. Yeah.
Yeah. Or I would have initially gotten on the train going the wrong direction and already been so far behind that, well, as it turned out, the flight was delayed by 20 minutes anyway, taking off. So anyway, and surprise travel story, ran into, sitting in the DFW airport, Lucas's old principal from middle school. So we spent 25 minutes in the Dallas airport catching up. It was the best thing that happened the entire trip. Was I ran into Anne, and Anne and I had time to just catch up and see what was going on with each other. So that was really good. That was a nice thing that happened in travel. We don't often tell nice travel stories. That was nice. So how about you? How's your week? How's your travel, man?
Not too bad. In boat, train, more train, underground, buses, the whole thing. We were out this weekend. We went to, on the weekends, we went to a number of markets, because I love being around thousands and thousands of people. I just love it. So we went to the crowded places, the most crowded places we could find in London. That was cool. I am getting concerned, however, that there's a trend I'm noticing in London where businesses are trying to outdo themselves with names to get your attention. So here is one. I believe this was on, I think this one's at Portobello Road.
Egg Slut.
Yeah.
I have eaten at Egg Slut in Las Vegas, which actually is more appropriate than, well, maybe not, than in London, but yes.
Oh, so it's a chain.
Yes.
Oh,
they make a really good sandwich, for the record. Here's the thing about the one in Vegas. The eggs spin around the poles before you then fry them and put them on a sandwich.
Yeah. Okay. Those are dancers.
Yes.
Dancing eggs. All right.
They're dancing eggs.
Not to be outdone. This one was over by Brick Lane on Sunday, and I don't even know what this one. If the first one serves eggs, I don't even know what this one serves.
Dirty Dicks.
Yep.
Does it serve? Is this a hot dog place?
Didn't get close enough.
Brats. It's brats.
Yeah. And then this one, we went to the theater last night, and while we were waiting for the bus, I saw this sign, and I thought, this is an interesting sentiment. It's the street sign. The government is trying to do something here, but I'm not sure that they're aiming high enough.
Pedestrian casualty reduction signal timings experiment. I would prefer, if I were a pedestrian, to not be part of an experiment.
Well, and my thought is, yes, and this isn't trying to eliminate pedestrian casualties. They're just trying to reduce them. Look, some people are going to get hit. We're all in agreement that we're just trying to bring the number down to a reasonable number. You know what? If you set your expectations low, it's much easier to exceed them.
There's going to be some loss. We've admitted it. We've reconciled that. We're just trying to, we're
not going to make promises that we can't keep with this government. Okay.
You know, when I was in recycling, we had some zero waste initiative people. And
Yeah.
their argument was, well, if you're not for zero waste, how much waste are you for? And I'm like, okay, fine, yes. But realistically, come on. Now, in this case, realistically, they're not wrong. And they're not wrong on a permanent sign. So you know they're committed to some casualties.
I mean, the cool thing is when the experiment ends and they take the sign down, you won't know whether the changing, like you can still see people being hit, like smashed, right? But you won't know where the signal timings mean fewer people or the experiment didn't work, right? Any result is a result. That's the beauty. It's science. It's just science. Anyway, there you go. There's some humor from the trip.
Oh, that's nice. Nice work.
Thank you. I mostly just stood there and went, "Oh, that's funny." Snap. Okay.
So lots of travel. Have you even had time to watch anything?
Yes, but not on TV because we're in London. We're going to the West End, watching some shows. I've watched the least. Lisa and Lindsey are way ahead of me in shows. The two that I've watched while here. First one we went to was Matilda. Have you seen that one?
I have not. Is there waltzing involved? Is this a waltzing Matilda?
We made the same joke. Lisa and I made the same joke going in, and I said, "There's only two songs. There's Waltzing Matilda, and then Tie Me Wallaby Down, Tie Me Kangaroo Down, whichever one, right?" And then which of course those two songs are which as everybody knows, those are the two co-national anthems of Australia. So turns out. No, it was excellent. It was incredibly entertaining. And we both went in, we haven't read the book, just went in, and it's really good. And there is something about seeing I'm going to say a 5 or 6 year old standing on stage at a West End theater by herself, belting out her song and acting, that Lisa and I go, well, what the hell are we doing with our lives?
Good for her.
Yeah. Just there you go. And then the other one that we went to last night, the three of us went to Come From Away.
Oh,
so
great show.
Lisa and I have seen it here before, and then Lindsey watched it with us on the Apple TV Plus on Apple TV. And so we saw it again, and man, that's a good show. Like that is a fantastic show. Yeah, I didn't get to watch any bad TV because I was watching Come From Away. So
welcome to the Rock.
Yeah, and you're an ambassador for such. So
yes, I am.
Just in case there's just a preclude any follow-up, Lindsey and Lisa went to 6. They also went to today they went to Dear Evan Hansen. While Lindsey and I were at the football match, Lisa went to for her 11th time the Book of Mormon, and tonight Lindsey just got back from Hamilton, which is playing down the street from us. So much theater has been consumed on this trip.
Nice.
What about you? What are you watching?
Like you, I guess, live performances. We did a client event, and we hired a band in Austin to entertain.
There's a band.
Yes, right. Oh, look, there's a band. Oh, never gets old. And it was, you can find her on Instagram, Bree Bagwell, and her band. Lots of country, I mean, as would it be expected in Austin, lots of country stuff, but and a few originals, or a few original songs, and a lot of 90s John Anderson, Vince Gill. They did a really, really nice job. And the trip went, like I said, the trip went really well. The client event went really well, but I saw Bree Bagwell in concert. And so when she hits the charts, I'll be able to say I saw her, I don't know, at some point, I guess, in Austin. But she's really good.
Excellent.
Yeah. What do you want to, how do we want to do, you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You can go first if you want.
Okay.
What did you learn this week?
So this is again, because I can text the author and get a response. And because we've also had this conversation when we interviewed Sarah about the pronunciation of some characters' names.
Yes.
Right. There is a character in Splice named Sarolea. And I'm like, okay.
You just change one letter so you don't get sued. That's the trick.
So I texted Sarah, every time I read this character's name, I keep thinking about frozen desserts. Because nobody does it like Sarah Lee, right?
Yes.
Right. Actual pronunciation, Sarolea.
That's on you. Yeah.
Yep, totally on me. And then 2, and this is the part that I learned. You know how like misheard lyrics, the Elton John song, yeah, Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza.
Yes.
For example. Here's the thing about Nobody Does It Like Sarah Lee.
Nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee.
Officially, the tagline was their long-running slogan. Everybody doesn't like something, but nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee.
Okay, I'm just going to say, as marketing experts that we are, that's terrible, because now you have you have a double negative that you're trying to, like, don't do that. You know what? They deserve that people have learned something else, because that's crap. That's just terrible.
And yet, forever, my entire life, I thought the slogan was nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee. No, who else? But it's,
here's the thing though. I think most people think that.
Yeah.
And if that's not their slogan, that means it's probably not trademark. So we should go get the trademark.
Quickly.
Yes.
So anyway, so nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee, apparently, is the slogan. But everybody likes Sarah Leah. Great character. Just want to throw that out there. And if you haven't read Splice, you should, unless you're a middle schooler in the greater Chicago area, at which point, not so much. How about you?
Two things. Learned two things this week. Number one, Saturday night, I was on the Underground. Going to go out, take some photos. I learned the proper use of wearing a face mask. Turns out, the proper use of a face mask. It turns out we've been doing this all wrong. There was a gentleman sitting across from me down a couple of seats. Face masks are at your discretion here, like, whatever. He had a face mask. This is what he was doing with it. He had an exceptionally this gets back to maybe I'll be back next week, maybe not. He had his face mask and he had it in his hand and he was using it to wipe his nose like a handkerchief. And I noticed this because he was having to do this like every 30 seconds because he was kind of sick. Uh,
oh my God.
buddy.
Best ever use of a face mask.
Yep.
Stellar work.
Yeah.
Oh, can't believe this didn't make idiots of the week. Okay.
If I would have read my notes more carefully, it would have. Second thing I learned this week is I thought that Lindsey and I had been exposed to a real English football match a couple of years ago, and this week I learned we had not until Monday night. So in 2017, Lindsey and I went to a Manchester United match at Old Trafford. We had a great time. It was interesting. Old Trafford seats like 70,000 plus minus people. So it's like an NFL stadium. There were some significant differences that were very interesting. But the reality is it was at the end of the season. Man United their season wasn't great. They finished like fifth. They were playing, ironically, they were playing Crystal Palace, and United scored like in the 15th and 17th minute. And so the game was never in doubt. It's a big stadium. Yeah, I was like, yeah, we've been there. So we talked multiple times about the tickets. So our Saturday afternoon match now got changed to a Monday night match in South London. So Lindsey and I took the train and went out there, and we got the full, well, not the full, we got English football experience. On the train with us, it's about a 30-minute ride out. We were standing there because the train was full, and we were surrounded by Leeds fans. So they'd made the journey down. They're nice. It's fine. No problems. I mean, we're not wearing Crystal Palace stuff, whatever. But as soon as we step off the platform near the train station, a few cars ahead of us, at least 20 or 30 people file out and are singing songs, the Crystal Palace songs at the top of their lungs. And Lindsey's comment was, "I'm glad we weren't in that car, because that would have been a lousy ride." And it was about a 15-minute walk to the stadium. Good news, I didn't need to use Apple Maps. We just followed all of the people. That chanting and singing at the top of their lungs continued for the full 15 minutes. So that was great. On the way to the stadium, some people, I believe, probably had already had a few beers before the match, just to loosen up.
Pre-game.
Yep. What I will say is this stadium is in a neighborhood. I mean, it is in a neighborhood. The end, when we walked there, one of the end of the stadium, there's the end of the stadium, there's a street, and there are literally row houses facing the stadium.
Really?
Yes, there's actually houses on all four sides of this. So to get from the train station there, we're just walking through neighborhoods. And I don't know why, but about halfway there, again, 15-minute walk, maybe less. Some people have been on the train for a while. They'd already been celebrating. We walked past what had been designated the pee fence, because there were 5 guys all lined up just peeing against the fence. Mind you, this is in a person's front yard. And Lindsey's like, this must suck on game matches to live here. Yes. Not everybody was using the pee fence though. Somebody had opened a gate and gone into somebody's backyard and was peeing just in somebody's backyard. And somebody had made a comment about, hey, come on. And he shouted at the top of his lungs, and I wrote this down because I want to make sure that there's no legal ramifications. He yelled, "We are Leeds United and we pee where we want." So that gives you an idea of what we were in store for the rest of the match. Most of the crowd was fine. Again, 99 99% of everybody was lovely. It's just the, whatever. We got into the stadium, and I sent. Oh, by the way, I got a lovely text message while I was on the train. I got a lovely text message from Greg, suggesting some promo activities I could do for Talking to Todd.
Yes.
Yeah. We didn't do that, but he did. He was actually watching the clock as to when the match would be. I sent to you and Greg the picture from our seats. They were technically not obstructed seats. If you sat down, you could technically see the field. However, if you stood up, you could barely see the far 18-yard box, because there's a roof on the stadium, and right below that is the media gantry. And so it was kind of like looking out of like a letterbox. Lindsey's like, "This is the tickets you got us? Like, you've been talking about this for like a month." I'm like, "I bought a membership. I tried." Like, the sad thing is, there were cheaper tickets available that would have had a much better view. I had never been to that stadium, so I didn't realize.
Live and learn.
Yep. And then also, when we were at Man United, we were at one end of the stadium, and the visitor section was at the far other end of the stadium. In this one, we were on the opposite sideline from the dugouts, as they are, right? And 3 sections down are the Leeds United supporters, and there were a lot of them. And with English football, with most international football, there's a lot of singing, a lot of chanting. Directly next to us, sitting in there were some super fans. They were being very helpful. They were actually suggesting that they have a group of buddies that want to get together and sing. And so before the match, people who had seats there, they were being directed to go someplace else. Sorry, we're going to be singing here. So my buddies have those seats down there. So you go down there, and they come up here. And then they proceeded to sing and chant through and stand through the entire match. Again, full English football. Most of them I can't repeat here or in a middle school in Chicago. They're wow, yeah. The very first time one of their buddies was on the other side of us, the very first time the referee made a even slightly questionable call against the home team, the only thing that came out of his mouth would have to be bleeped, even on HBO. Oh dear. Oh, wow. I don't think what you just told him to do is physically possible. Anyway, so that was cool. The other couple of things, let's see. The other couple of things I learned. Oh yeah. So from where we were sitting, not only was the field, when you stood, not only was the field obstructed, at some point I also realized I can't see a scoreboard, which is fine because this is 2 lower table English football teams, so there was no score. So you didn't need that. That was superfluous. Couldn't see the clock.
Oh,
How much time? Yeah, there was nothing. There was just nothing. There was an instant replay board in the stadium, but you couldn't see that. So I had to pull out the phone and actually keep track of the score, the substitutes, what was called on that. And again, Lindsey just keeps looking at me like, "Dude, you picked him. I could have been a Book of Mormon tonight." And then the last, we had fun. And then the last thing is, but because they were obstructed, they did provide some TVs. Let me send this to you, and you will be able to see what they provided us.
The one that's not on?
Yeah, the one that's broken was in our section. So like that 32-inch TV for the entire section wasn't on. However, what I realized was if you scroll all the way over to the left, you can see the TV that was on for the other section. And if you zoom in, you can see what was being displayed on the TV during the match.
Crystal, it's an advertisement for the Crystal Palace Beer Festival.
So, one, I thought that's what we were at. all proof said that that's where we already were. Number two,
and the score of the game was 22-20.
That would have been exciting. That would have been amazing. And number two, in our obstructed seats, they put TVs on, but instead of showing the game or the score or the clock, they just use it to put ads on the entire time.
Sure, why not?
Here's what I will say, though. We did leave. Actually, Lindsey was like, look, we should probably get, like, we left in the 85th minute. So we ducked out 5 minutes early to get to the train station to catch an earlier train before everybody who had all the beers and all the singing was going to get on the train. So we were fine.
Because Leeds United might pee where they want.
Yeah. What I will say is this. I made it sound really bad, but on the other hand, actually it's like, yep, this is what English football is about. And what I will tell you is, having gone to, I don't know, 60 major league soccer games, 10 more international friendlies, some college football, professional, like all of this. This was only 25,000 people in the stadium. And the atmosphere for the 14th versus 16th place team in the table, and the when you get a couple of thousand people all chanting and singing the same song, admittedly, potentially saying that they want death to the other people that are singing and chanting to the people anyway, that's fine. It's an atmosphere. It is absolutely an atmosphere. So we got back and Lisa's like, how did it go? And I'm like, that was interesting. And she's like, oh, would you go again? And I said, yeah, I'll go again.
Heck yeah.
Just not going to bring one of those defense signs because there might be Leeds United supporters around.
The music is Happy Boy by Kevin MacLeod. You can subscribe to Talking to Todd wherever you get your pods. Just search Talking and the number 2, no G, no space. You can tweet us on Facebook. You can check out our award-winning merch on Zazzle, which I did this week. Actually, they had playing cards on sale. So I made us custom playing cards. I don't know if you can you read that?
No, I cannot.
It says, no one ever accused these guys of playing with a full deck. And it's got our logo on it. They also had a deal for custom golf balls. So I now have a dozen golf balls with our heads on them and talking to Todd and a putting line so that I can line the ball up to make sure that it goes in, because I like those. So if you're interested in Talking to Todd swag, you can check out the page on Zazzle. You can leave us a voicemail like Doug did at 515 also CPA. Pretty easy to get through now that tax season is over. Covered that already. Thanks to our listeners and our sponsors, Toddler 3187. And as always, you can send us your feedback to feedback@talkingtotodd.com. Todd?
You know, given that the London traffic people are running a pedestrian casualty experiment, that's inspired me. I think we should think about running a listener casualty reduction experiment.
And I'm just hopeful that we don't have to clean anything up next week when we're back on Talking to Todd. Safe travels home. Thanks everybody for joining us. Hear us next week.
By the way, we can't get golf balls made for the other podcast. Do you know why?
No. Why?
The balls would consistently just keep flying to the left.